Good afternoon. This is Kathleen Drew, Chair of the Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council, calling this July monthly meeting to order. Ms. Grantham, will you call the roll?
Certainly. Department of Commerce, Department of Ecology,
Department of Ecology, this is Eli Levitt, present.
thank you. Department of Fish and Wildlife,
Mike Livingston, present.
Department of Natural Resources,
Lenny Young, present.
Utilities and Transportation Commission,
Stacy Brewster, present.
for local government and optional state agencies for the Horse Heaven Project, for Department of Agriculture, Derek Sanderson. For Benton County, Ed Brost. For the Badger Mountain Project, for Douglas County. For the Watoma Solar Project, for Benton County, Dave Sharp.
Dave Sharp is present.
Washington State Department of Transportation, Paul Gonseth.
Paul Gonseth is present.
For the Hop Hill Solar Project, for Benton County, Paul Crouppen. For the Character Solar Project for Klickitat County, Matt Childs.
Matt Childs is present.
Assistant Attorney Generals, John Thompson.
Present.
Jenna Slocum. Administrative Law Judges, Adam Torum. Laura Bradley. Dan Gerard. Joni Deerfield. For Council Staff, Sonia Bumpus. Amy Hofgemeyer.
Present.
Amy Moon.
Amy Moon, present.
Stu Henderson. Joan Owens.
Present.
Dave Walker.
Present.
Sonia Scavland.
Present.
Lisa Massengale.
Present.
Sarah Randolph.
Present.
Sean Green.
Present.
Lance Caputo.
Lance Caputo, present.
John Barnes.
Present.
Osta Davis. Joanne Snarsky. Alex Shiley.
Present.
Allie Smith.
Allie Smith, present.
Carl Holapa.
Present.
For operational updates, Kittitas Valley Wind Project.
Eric Melbardis, present.
Wild Horse Wind Power Project.
Jennifer Galbraith, present.
Grace Harbor Energy Center.
Chris Sharon, present.
Chehalis Generation Facility. Columbia Generating Station.
Felicia Nahida Paxton, present.
Columbia Solar. Goose Prairie Solar.
Cody Burchell, present.
And do we have anyone present for the Council for the Environment? Hearing none, Chair, there is a quorum for the regular council, Watoma Solar Council, and Carrigash Solar Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the proposed agenda. You see the agenda in front of you. Is there anyone who'd like to move to adopt the agenda? Ms. Brewster.
I move we adopt the agenda for today's meeting.
Second?
Lenny Young,
Eli Levitt,
second.
second.
Lenny Young, second. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda is adopted. Moving on to the meeting minutes. We have two sets of minutes in front of us today. First is the June 9th special meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the special meeting minutes? Go ahead.
Stacy Brewster, motion to approve the special meeting minutes from June 9th.
Second?
Mike Livingston, second.
Thank you. Are there any changes or edits? I did not find any myself, so anyone else have edits to the special meeting from June 9th? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to the June 21st, 2023 monthly meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Lenny
Stacy
Young,
Bruce.
so moved.
Thank you.
Stacy Brewster, second.
Okay, on these minutes, I do have a few changes. Page 8, line 16. The person speaking is not Sarah Randolph. It is Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, Reneveld, R-E-Y-N-E-V-E-L-D. On page 23, line 22, the word pecking, P-E-C-K-I-G, should be checking, C-H-E-C-K-I-N-G. On page 30, line 21, the person speaking is not Miss Grantham. It is Ms. Volkers, V-O-E-L-C-K-E-R-S. Page 33, line 12. The person speaking is not Ms. Bumpus. It is Ms. Volkers, V-O-E-L-C-K-E-R-S. Those are the corrections I have to make. Anyone else have corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of the June 21 monthly meeting minutes to approve as amended, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are approved. Moving on to the operational updates, Kittitas Valley Wind Project, Mr. Milbardis.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, Council members, and FSEC staff. For the record, this is Eric Melbardis with EDP Renewables for the Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project. I have nothing non-routine to report for the period.
Thank you. Your report for the month did talk about blade inspections, and you were making some repairs. Is there any more
Right.
information on that?
Yeah, I could go into that briefly for you. I'm in the field again today working on another crane job, so I didn't have that in front of me.
Okay.
We do an annual sample of blade inspections with a drone company, and we sample about 33% of the project every year. And this time around, they found 3 fairly significant cracks in our blades. And so that led us to do 2 things. We first hired a crane company to come in and take down all 3 of those rotors for fiberglass repairs on the ground. It turns out it looks like it was a manufacturing defect or a process of during manufacturing where they found a wrinkle in the fiberglass and had smoothed it out, and it looks like it lasted about 14 years. And so we got those repaired and put back up. And then the second thing that caused us to do was to call our drone inspectors back to do 100% of the project this year instead of just the 33%. So they're currently in the process of doing that. We haven't found anything else, but I think I included that it's not really regulatory, but just as a due diligence of what we do to make sure we're not going to toss a blade into the field.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the detail. Do you plan to change the way you do inspections a third a year once these have been, because you said now have been operated for 14 years. So will there be anything that will change moving forward?
That's probably up to our blade engineers. They definitely take this very serious. So, I mean, we may end up doing 100% annually. moving forward just to see if we find anything. And if we don't, for over the course of a number of years, maybe we drop back to a third of the project. That's not really a decision that I make, but it's quite possible. Our drone inspections, the 33% a year, it's like $5,000. It's not that much cost wise.
Thank you. Are there questions from other council members? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to Wild Horse Wind Power Project. Ms. Galbraith.
Yes, thank you, Chair Drew, council members and staff. For the record, this is Jennifer Galbraith with Puget Sound Energy representing the Wild Horse Wind Facility, and I have no non-routine updates for the month of June.
Thank you. Chehalis Generation Facility, is Mr. Smith on the line? If not, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, FSEC Council. This is Jeremy Smith. I'm the maintenance manager for Chehalis Generation Facility. I have one non-routine item to note. The Chehalis plant was restricted on water purchases during the month of June, starting on June 27th, due to low river flow. That is all.
Thank
Are
you.
there any
Do
questions?
you, yes, at 1 year, I remember there was, we did get down to the point you did at the facility as to whether or not you had enough water to, continue regular operations. Do you have, will you just continue to report to us the status of that?
Well, that did change this week, Chair Drew. The USGS did calibrate their meter, and we are back able to receive water. We're working with the city of Chehalis to coordinate that.
Okay.
So currently, that is not the status. If it does change, we'll update the council.
Okay. Any other questions from council members? Thank you. Moving on to Grays Harbor Energy Center, Mr. Sharon.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members and staff. This is Chris Sharon, the plant manager of Grays Harbor Energy Center. Really, pretty much don't have any non-routine items to report, but I'll mention that we ended our annual audit the first day of June, and we did submit our annual relative accuracy test audit test plan to FSEC and ORCA.
Thank you. Any questions from
welcome.
council members? Okay. Moving on to Columbia Solar, Mr. Cushing? Or is that Ms. Randolph?
I think I have it today.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members and staff. For the record, this is Sarah Randolph, site specialist for Columbia Solar. The facility update is provided in your packet. There were no non-routine updates to report. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. Columbia Generating Station and WNP 1 and 4, Ms. Nahara Paxton.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, FSEC Council and staff. For the record, I am Felicia Nahara Paxton with Energy Northwest for WNP 1 and 4. I do not have any non-routine items to report. I do have one item to report for Columbia Generating Station. Following the oil retrieval efforts in the Columbia Generating Station circulating water system and deployment of the pollution prevention and mitigation strategies into the Columbia River, normal blowdown operations have resumed at CGS as authorized by the site's National Pollution Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES permit. There was no sheen observed on the Columbia River during the 3 days of monitored blowdown, which were June 20th through June 22nd, which allowed normal blowdown operations to resume the evening of June 22nd. No sheen has been observed in the cooling towers since the date of June 20th, and the observed booms have been removed from the system. And the absorbent booms have been removed from the system as they are no longer collecting oil. Energy Northwest will prepare a final report as required by FSEC, and Energy Northwest sincerely appreciates the support received from FSEC and the Washington State Department of Ecology Spill Prevention, Preparedness, and Response Program, and also from Graymar Environmental Services to develop an overarching strategy that was protective of the environment and supported returning to normal operations as CGS exited our refueling and maintenance outage R26. So there are no other non-routine items to report, and all routine reports were submitted on time.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council members? Thank you very much for your report.
Thank you.
Moving on to Goose Prairie Solar. Mr. Burchill.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Cody Burchill with Brookfield Renewable. No non-routine updates this month. The contractor mobilized late last month of June and started civil work on the substation. Should be moving into structural foundation by the end of this month.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council members? Okay, moving on to High Top and Ostria project, Ms. Randolph.
Chair Drew, council members, and staff. For the record, this is Sarah Randolph, site specialist for High Top and Austria. FSEC staff are coordinating with the certificate holder on pre-construction plans and schedules. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. Whistling Ridge, Mr. Caputo.
Thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, I am Lance Caputo, siting specialist assigned to the Whistling Ridge Energy Facility. Last month, the certificate holders for Whistling Ridge Energy submitted requests to the council for amending its site certification agreement. Staff are still working to schedule the informational meeting with the council and will keep the council informed and the public updated as details become available. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. Desert Claim project update, Ms. Moon.
Thank you, Council Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Amy Moon providing a project update on Desert Claim. On July 13th, 2023, earlier this month, FSEC held a public informational meeting on the requested amendment to the Desert Claim Site Certification Agreement, or SCA. The site certificate holder, EDF Renewables, gave a presentation on their proposed amendment to the SCA that is requesting the council extend the substantial completion date from November 13th, 2023 to November 13th of 2028. The presentation also went through a brief history of the Desert Claim project with the location and the potential for energy production and off-takers of that energy. The FSEC Attorney General's office, they are preparing a legal brief for the council's consideration regarding the extension request. The current signed site certification agreement authorizes the certificate holder to construct the project such that substantial completion is achieved no later than 5 years from the date that amendment number 1, which is what the SCA is currently under amendment number 1, which was approved by the council on November 13th, 2018. So that's where the 2023 date for substantial completion came from. Does the council have any questions as a result of that public informational meeting?
Are there any questions about the Desert Claim wind power project amendment request? Hearing none, that's thank you, Ms. Moon, for your report. Moving on to the Horse Heaven Wind Farm project update, Ms. Moon.
Again, good afternoon, Council Chair Drew and FSEC council members. This is Amy Moon providing the update on the Horse Heaven Wind project. FSEC staff continued work on the preparation of the final environmental impact statement, or final EIS, by incorporating public comments received on the draft EIS. This effort includes working with Washington State Agency subject matter experts on remaining impact analysis and recommended mitigation opportunities to incorporate into the final EIS. Does the council have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Moon? Okay, thank you. And now for the adjudication update, Ms. Hofgemeyer.
There we go. Thank you. For the record, this is Amy Hofkemeyer providing the adjudication update. Staff would like to make the council aware that in the council SharePoint, there is pre-file testimony available for your review. Staff would like to request that council begin to review these documents so that when we get into the hearings, they will have that context for the cross-examination occurring during those hearings. We are also expecting pre-hearing briefs to be filed in the coming weeks, which we would also like to request that the council take some time to review ahead of the adjudicative hearings. Staff can provide assistance to any council members as requested in navigating the SharePoint to those documents. Please just reach out to administrative staff for setting up notices of new documents or navigating to those documents as needed. Are there
So
any,
that would be Joan or Andrea or Allie
or Lisa Massengale,
or Lisa.
and any of those staff should be able to assist in that. Yes.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Hofkemeyer?
Stacy Brewster. One quickly, can you remind us of the date the pre-filed briefs are due? I can also look it up.
Well, so there is an order coming out. I was in transit to this meeting. I'm not sure if it came out ahead of this meeting, but I believe that the pre-hearing briefs will be filed by August 9th is the new date.
Okay, thank you. I will check that order.
If it's not out already, it will be out shortly.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, let's go to Badger Mountain project update. Ms. Hofkemeyer.
Thank you, Chair Drew. Again, for the record, this is Amy Hofkemeyer. Progress continues to be made on the development of the draft environmental impact statement for the Badger Mountain project. Staff are currently working on coordinating internal review as well as review with our contracted agencies, including Department of Fish and Wildlife and Department of Ecology and Department of Natural Resources for the development of this draft. Staff are also reviewing and coordinating with Department of Archaeologic and Historical Preservation and Department of Natural Resources in review of the revised Cultural Resource Survey draft, and have been meeting with those agencies as well as technical staff from the Colville Tribe and the Yakima Nation in this review and to determine next steps.
Are there any questions? Okay, thank you. Next, we have the Watoma Solar Project. Mr. Caputo.
Thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Lance Caputo, siting specialist assigned to the Watoma Energy Facility. The applicant for the proposed Watoma Energy Facility, Interjex Renewable Development, is still conducting the additional field survey work requested by FSEC and the Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation. The applicant has notified us it intends to submit a draft report of its findings for our contracted agencies to review within several weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Hop Hill Solar Project, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is John Barnes, FSEC staff for the Hop Hill application. Update for June. We developed and sent data request number 2. The applicant Bright Knight has changed their application project manager. He hopes to attend the council meeting next month to meet with FSEC staff and council. We are continuing to coordinate and review the application with our contractor, contracted agencies, and tribal governments. There are no other updates to report on. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. Carriger Solar, Ms. Hofkemeyer.
Thank you, Chair Drew. At the previous council meeting, staff was directed to coordinate with the administrative law judge, or ALJ, to prepare a land use consistency order. Also at the June council meeting, Councilmember Childs indicated some questions with regards to the legal brief as provided. So staff are working with our AGs to revise the legal brief to reflect those concerns, and staff are coordinating with the ALJ and our AGs to prepare the the land use order. Both of these will be made available to the council ahead of the August meeting for your review for discussion and vote at the August council meeting. Staff are also working to complete the State Environmental Policy Act, or SEPA, determination. And we expect that that determination will come shortly as well. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Next, we are going to go to the, this is a little bit out of order, but that's okay. We're moving to the first quarter cost allocation because, of course, we go on fiscal years. So this is the first quarter of fiscal year 2024. Ms. Hofkemeyer.
Thank you. So the cost allocation for first quarter 2024 is as on the screen. Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project, 4%. Wild Horse Wind Power, 4%. Columbia Generating Station, 20%. Columbia Solar, 4%. WNP1, 2%. Whistling Ridge Energy, 3%. Grays Harbor 1 and 2, 6%. Chehalis Generation Facility, 6%. Desert Claim Wind Project, 4%. Goose Prairie Solar, 4%. Horse Heaven Wind Project, 15%. Badger Mountain Solar Project, 6%. Cypress Creek Renewables, also known as the High Top and Ostria Project, 4%. Watoma Solar Project, 6%. Hop Hill Solar Project, 6%. And Carriger Solar Project, 6%. Are there any questions?
Thank you. We also have 2 new employees to introduce, and we will turn now to Mr. Dave Walker.
No, thank you, Chair Drew, council members and staff. For the record, Dave Walker, Director of Administrative Services with FSEC. Happy to announce that we have 2 new employees this month that we're going to be introducing, starting first with Allie Smith. Allie has taken our management analyst position and is going to be providing me a lot of support, as well as other work units within the agency as we move forward, whether it be rules, legislation, so forth. Allie came to us from the State of Michigan Secretary of State's office, so I would like to give Allie an opportunity to introduce herself and say hello.
Thank you, Dave. Chair Drew, council members and staff. For the record, my name is Allie Smith. My first day with FSEC was on June 26th of this year. My position, as Dave said, is management analyst, so I'll be working closely with him and the administrative team at FSEC. With nearly 6 years of experience in state government, working with the state of Michigan, Department of State, or Secretary of State, it's kind of like the sub-department. I found myself pretty keen on public service. I held positions that were both external public-facing roles and internal positions to aid our department in becoming more comprehensive and efficient. While working internally, I was part of the team that helped modernize our business processes and our daily business flow. This team developed and implemented a new data entry and management system, and the project allowed me to further gain experience in reviewing and updating policies, procedures, practices, and processes, as well as data tracking and reporting. So very interested in keeping that train moving. So I look forward to applying my knowledge and experience to FSEC as we continue the journey that comes with being a newer agency. So thank you for allowing the time for me to introduce myself today.
Thank you, Allie.
Thank you and welcome aboard. Go ahead.
Our next new employee is Carl Holopa. Carl comes to us with a variety of journalistic experience as well as PIO work with police department. I believe it was in Illinois, but I'm going to let him talk about that. Carl is just recently hired into our communications and outreach position. So, Carl, if you don't mind.
All right. Hello, council, FSEC staff member, and everybody else on the call. My name is Carl Holopa. And yeah, I'm really excited to be in this this newly created position with our NASA agency. My first day was last Monday. Prior to working at this agency, I was a public information officer for the Aurora Police Department in Illinois, second largest municipal police department in that state. Managed a team of sworn officers to work on public relations tactics, large-scale social media management, and crisis mitigation issues involving media-facing interviews and other techniques like that. And so did a lot of training with FEMA and the FBI LEADA program for that type of crisis management work. And then prior to that, I'm actually from Washington, born and raised. I was a reporter for the Ellensburg Daily Record in Central Washington, where I covered environment, agriculture, state and county government. And yeah, I'm very happy to be back and surrounded by mountains again after being in the Midwest. So I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Welcome. With that, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. One thing I would like to add, we brought on Cynthia Smith last year as a contractor to assist us not only with media issues and establishing some of the internal processes within the agency. She was absolutely pivotal in helping us develop our strategic plan for the 2023-2025 biennium. Cindy's contract ends with us at the end of this month, so I just wanted to recognize Cindy for her efforts and absolute professionalism that she brought to the job.
Thank you, and thank you very much, Cindy, for all you did as we moved to be our own agency and all the work that you set up for us to be able to handle, as well as handling it during this past year. Really appreciate it. And with that, that concludes our business, and our meeting is adjourned.